There are moments when God sends a warning long before we understand the danger approaching. For an
It was an
FBI
accident.
agent and his
They
loyal
made me
German
do it.
shepherd, that warning began the night the dog
The
died,
drop is at the warehouse by
then
the bridge.
breathed again with someone else's memories. A forgotten brother, a secret organization,
He forced me to do it.
and a message recorded by a man
Please, you
the
have
world
to believe
believed
me.
was gone.
It wasn't my fault.
Every clue pulled them deeper into a truth darker than anything they had ever faced.
Which
And when
way?
the little girl whispered that she saw a man behind the dog, one who looked exactly like the agent,
He's behind the wall.
everything shifted. Something hidden was waking inside the shepherd, guiding them toward a revelation no one was prepared for. What do you think is waiting for them next? Leave your thoughts, like the video, and subscribe to Angels in Uniform to follow this journey. Cole Maddox had seen death before. Too many times. Enough to crush softer men. But nothing prepared him for this. One moment, Echo walked at his side in the sterile hallway of Oak Ridge Veterinary Hospital. The next, the German shepherd collapsed, body slamming the tile with a force that stole every breath from the room. Cole dropped to his knees instantly. Echo, hey, look at me, look at me. But the dog wasn't shaking. He was convulsing, hard, violent, as if something inside him was fighting to break free. Echo's black and tan coat rippled with unnatural spasms. His claws scraped across the floor. His pupils shrank into tiny points of terror. Cole pulled him into his arms, voice cracking in a way a 41-year-old FBI agent never allowed. Stay with me. Don't you quit on me. Cole Maddox was built like stubborn granite. Broad chest, strong jaw, silver starting to streak through his dark hair. His gray eyes were usually cold, steady, unbreakable. Not tonight. Tonight, those eyes fractured. Dr. Rowan Beckett sprinted down the hallway toward them, coat flying, dark ponytail bouncing, glasses sliding down his nose. Rowan always looked tired, like he carried the world's animals on his shoulders. But tonight, even he went pale. Put him on the table, now! Cole lifted Echo easily despite the convulsions slamming through the dog's muscles like waves. They rushed into the surgical room, sensors clipped, oxygen mask lowered, IV needle prepared. Then, the lights flickered. Once, twice, and the entire room fell into darkness. Only 2 seconds. But in those 2 seconds, Cole heard Echo growl. Not a normal growl, not fear, not pain. Something older, something primal. A warning whispered from the beginning of instinct. The lights snapped back. Every tech froze. Because Echo wasn't looking at Cole, or Rowan, or anyone in the room. His head was twisted sharply toward the far corner, a corner completely empty. Echo's ears pinned back, his lips curled. A deep, trembling growl rumbled from his chest, aimed at nothing. Cole followed the stare, felt something cold slide down his spine. Echo, he whispered. What do you see? The dog didn't blink. Rowan's voice broke the moment. His vitals are dropping. Fast. Cole pressed both hands to Echo's ribs, feeling every shudder beneath the fur. Then Rowan cut the canine vest open. Echo exploded into a terrifying growl. The techs jumped back. Cole didn't move. It's okay, boy. I've got you. But then, Echo's stomach moved. Not a spasm. Not breathing. Moved. A bulge rising beneath the skin. Slow. Deliberate. As if something alive was pushing upward from inside. A tech screamed. Rowan staggered back. Cole felt his heart slam against his ribs. What the hell? Rowan whispered. That isn't muscle. That's something else. Echo snapped his head to Cole, eyes wide, drowning in pain, and lunged just enough to clamp his teeth onto Cole's sleeve. Not biting, not attacking, holding, begging. and through a ragged breath, Echo forced out a sound. No. Cole froze. Rowan froze. Everyone in the room froze. Dogs don't speak, but Echo had. "Scanner, now!" Rowan shouted. The portable scanner whirred to life. Echo's body jerked violently against the table. The heart monitor flickered, then went dead. Flatline. But the light stayed on. The other machines stayed powered. Only Echo's monitor died. "That's impossible," Rowan whispered. "It's on an independent system." Then, the scanner flashed red. A single message blinked across the screen. Unidentified object. Activated. Cole stepped back, breath crushed in his throat. Echo's chest rose weakly, fell, rose again. His eyes, brown, terrified, painfully human, locked onto Cole. And in them, Cole saw it. Echo wasn't afraid of dying. He was afraid of whatever was waking up inside him. Rowan reached for the heart monitor to restart it manually. A cold breeze swept through the sealed room. Impossible? No open windows, no broken vents. The temperature dropped instantly. Cole's breath misted in the air. Echo's gaze, still locked on that corner, shifted. Slowly, tracking something moving from left to right. Cole felt the hair on his neck stand straight. "Cole," Rowan whispered. "He's looking at it again." The scanner pulsed red a second time. Unidentified object. Active signal. Echo's body tensed as if fighting an invisible force. The chapter's terror deepened. Rowan slammed fresh sensors onto Echo's chest. "We need to stabilize him before that thing moves again." Cole leaned down, forehead almost touching Echo's. Stay with me." Echo's paw twitched, dragging a tiny inch toward Cole's hand. A tiny movement, but everything. The scanner beeped. New images formed. Rowan's face drained of color. "Cole, there's something inside him." "Something?" Cole rasped. "Like what?" "Not a bullet. Not metal, I know. Not natural." The object pulsed again, glowing faintly. Rowan whispered, "It's moving." Echo's body arched violently. Machines screamed, lights flickered. A warning flashed across the monitor. Heart failure imminent. Cole pressed his hands down harder. "Don't you die on me. You hear me? Don't you leave me." His voice cracked. Rowan lifted a syringe, hesitating. "Cole, if I inject him, whatever's inside, do it." The needle touched Echo's fur. Echo jolted upward, eyes wide, terrified, growling a sound that didn't belong to any living dog. Then collapsed. Limp, flatline again. Rowan reached for the defibrillator. The scanner blinked red. Unidentified object. Activated. Signal transmission detected. A tremor rolled through Echo's abdomen. Not a spasm, a rhythm. Something inside him was waking up. If you believe God still moves in the darkest rooms, if you believe miracles rise where hope begins to fail, please like, comment a prayer for Echo, and subscribe to Angels in Uniform so this story can reach every heart searching for light. The room still rang with the echo of the flatline. That long, unbroken tone. The sound that meant too late. Rowan Beckett stood frozen, defibrillator paddles still in his trembling hands. The surgical team stared at the monitor like it had personally betrayed them. Cole Maddox didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe. His hand stayed on Echo's fur, warm but still. Too still. Rowan swallowed hard. Time of death. The words wouldn't come. Cole bowed his head, forehead almost touching Echo's. His voice came out raw. "Buddy, no, not like this." He pressed his palm over Echo's chest, over the silent heart. "If you come back to me," he whispered, voice shaking, "I'll tell you the secret I've kept for 6 years. a promise made in the valley between life and death. Rowan's shoulders sagged. Cole, he's gone. The scanner near them flickered. Red light. One message, unidentified object, activated. But Cole didn't look at the screen. He stared at Echo. Only Echo. He didn't ask for science. He asked for a miracle. The sliding doors outside burst open. Sneakers squeaked on polished floor. Where is he? Where's Echo? Haley Brooke raced into the hall. 9 years old, swallowed by a pink hoodie a size too big. Blonde curls bouncing, blue eyes wide and flooded with tears. Her mother, Rebecca, hurried after her. Thin, tired, worn from too many bad nights and not enough good news. Haley, you can't just run in. But the girl had already seen the room, already seen the shape on the table. She stopped dead at the doorway. Her lips trembled. Echo. Cole turned, stunned. Haley? Who told you to come here? She looked straight at him, chest heaving. He did. Cole frowned. Who? Haley pointed at Echo. The dog. He called me. Rebecca squeezed her shoulders. Sweetheart, no one called. I didn't want you to. I wasn't dreaming. Haley snapped, stamping a small foot. I heard him. He said my name. Rowan walked closer, voice gentle but frayed. Haley. Echo's heart stopped. He can't. He said help, the girl whispered. And it's coming. The room went quiet. Cole swallowed. Haley, what do you think is coming? Her eyes filled again. The bad man. The one from the woods. The one Echo bit. Memories slammed into Cole like a wave. The kidnapping. The forest. Echo tearing a man off a terrified child. Haley took a step toward the table. Let me see him. Haley, no. Rebecca pleaded. You don't need to look at. But the girl slipped past her. Past Cole. Past Rowan. She reached the table and laid her small hands on Echo's chest. Echo? She whispered. It's me. I'm here. Rowan opened his mouth to say it again. He's gone, sweetheart. But the words never made it out. Because at the exact moment Haley touched him, the temperature dropped. Cold swept through the room like someone had opened a door to winter. Breath turned white in the air. The lights dimmed for half a second, then steadied, but the chill remained. Haley's eyes widened. He heard me, she whispered. The heart monitor, dead, flat, silent, gave a tiny, impossible blip. Beep. Cole's head snapped toward it. Rowan. Another blip. Beep. Rowan stared, color draining from his face. That's not possible. Haley didn't look at the screen. She kept her eyes on Echo. Come back, she whispered. I'm scared, and you always come when I'm scared. The monitor answered her. Slow, fragile, unbelievable. A third heartbeat. Hope entered the room like a crack of light under a locked door. Rowan moved fast, instincts kicking back in. Pads, now! He reattached sensors, hands shaking for a new reason, not from grief, from awe. Cole, stay by his head. Talk to him. Cole leaned close, hand resting against Echo's cheek. The fur was still warm. Still his. If you fight your way back, he whispered, voice breaking, I'll tell you everything I never said out loud. Haley climbed onto a nearby stool so she could reach Echo's face. She looked so small beside him, so breakable. Echo, she said softly, I'm right here. Please don't go. Echo's paw twitched, just a fraction of an inch. Rebecca gasped. Rowan froze mid-motion. Cole's eyes burned. That's it, buddy. That's it. The scanner flared red again. New data flashed across it. Rowan glanced at the readings and whispered, almost to himself, the object. It's responding to her voice. Cole looked at him sharply. Helping or hurting? Rowan swallowed. Helping. He nodded once, then let her keep talking. Haley leaned closer. Her forehead almost touched Echo's. "I was so scared," she murmured. "In the woods, when he took me. You came for me then. Can you come back for me now?" The object's pulse brightened, almost like it understood. Echo's breathing changed. A weak, shallow inhale. His first since dying. Rebecca covered her mouth with both hands. Rowan blinked hard. Ethan, the young nurse, whispered stunned, "Oh my God." Cole just stayed there, one hand on Echo, one hand gripping the edge of the table like it was the only thing holding him up. "Good boy," he whispered. "Come back." Time stretched. The monitor kept teasing them with hesitant blips, like a heart learning how to be a heart again. Rowan adjusted something on the machine. "The rhythm is weak, but it's there. We're not out of danger, not even close." Echo's eyelids fluttered. Just once. Haley smiled through her tears. "He heard us." Cole nodded slowly. Yeah, he did. But behind the hope, behind the miracle beating weakly under his palm, there was something else. A question that wouldn't let go. If Echo carried part of someone else's memory, if an impossible object had hijacked his heart, then what exactly had just come back with him? If you believe God hears even the smallest voice, if you believe he can breathe life back into what the world has already given up on, please comment a prayer for Echo, and subscribe to Angels in Uniform so more hearts can find hope in stories like this. The world inside the veterinary room had not returned to normal. It only pretended to. Machines hummed, lights steadied. But something invisible coiled around the air. A presence, a pressure. Like the moment before a storm snaps a tree in half. Echo lay on the table, breathing shallow, alive but not fully returned. Alive, but not alone. Cole Maddox hovered beside him, sleeves rolled, eyes hollowed with fear that looked too much like guilt. Haley stayed near Echo's head, tiny fingers keeping contact, as if she feared the dog would slip away again the second she let go. Rowan Beckett scanned the monitor for the 100th time. "It's impossible," he whispered. "But the object inside him isn't hurting him anymore. It's synchronizing." Cole didn't look up. Synchronizing with what? Rowan swallowed. With him. Minutes stretched. Cole stayed locked in place, refusing to blink too long, because he had learned the hard way that life could disappear in the length of a breath. Haley tugged his sleeve. "Agent Cole?" He forced himself to soften. "Yes, sweetheart?" "Can Echo hear me now?" Cole studied the dog's face, tired, strained, but responsive. "I think so." Haley leaned close again, whispering something only Echo could hear. Echo's ear twitched. Rebecca gasped. Rowan nearly dropped the clipboard. Cole let out a shaky breath he'd been holding for minutes. "There you go," he murmured. "He's fighting his way back." But the celebration lasted only a heartbeat. The scanner beeped, sharp, metallic, urgent. A red line pulsed across the screen. A new message formed. Signal detected. Source unknown. Rowan froze. "Cole, something is contacting the object." The monitor changed again. Not text this time, but a waveform. Not Echo's heartbeat, not a machine malfunction. A pattern, a pulse, a deliberate coded transmission. Haley clutched Cole's arm. "Is something coming?" Cole didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on the screen. Memories stirred. The forest, the masked man Echo took down, the strange symbol carved into his gear, the one the Bureau never identified. Rowan whispered, "This isn't just transmitting, it's responding. There's a second signal, weak, but Cole, this isn't random noise." Rebecca's voice trembled. "So, what does it mean?" Rowan adjusted frequency. Static blurred, lines bending, aligning, until a distorted audio tone filled the room. Then a voice. Faint, broken, familiar. Cole's blood ran cold. Haley grabbed his sleeve. Who was that? Cole whispered the answer he wished was impossible. It's my brother. Rowan stepped back, eyes wide. Cole, your brother died 6 years ago. I know. But the signal, I know. The voice crackled again, fighting through static like a man clawing through a sealed coffin. Cole, if you're hearing this, I didn't die the way they said. Haley's eyes filled with fear. Rebecca held her daughter tightly. The message continued, broken, failing. They're coming. Echo is the key. Don't trust. The audio cut. The screen flared red. Signal lost. Rowan stared at Cole. This changes everything. Cole's voice was low, hollow. No, this confirms everything. Rowan steadied himself. Cole, your brother's unit disappeared in a classified operation. If someone recreated his voice, that wasn't recreated, Cole said quietly. That was him. Haley tugged his sleeve again. Agent Cole? He looked down at her. Yeah? When Echo said, it's coming, was he talking about the man who took me? Cole shook his head slowly. No. Then who? Cole glanced at Echo, breathing weakly, pulse catching onto life like a child grabbing an adult's hand, and the object's faint glow beneath his skin. Someone much worse, he murmured. Echo's breathing changed, soft, strained, but deeper. Haley smiled through tears. He's getting stronger. Rowan nodded. Yes, but I don't know if it's because he's healing or because the object inside him wants him awake. Cole tensed. What do you mean? Rowan pointed at the scan. The object is routing tiny electrical spikes into his nervous system, almost like it's controlling what functions come back first. Controlling? Rebecca echoed. Rowan hesitated. Guiding. Haley touched Echo's paw again, and the scanner pulsed softly, like a heartbeat answering hers. Cole felt the shift. Echo wasn't returning by accident. He was being brought back, for a reason. And whatever force was guiding his resurrection had just used Cole's dead brother's voice to make contact. Cole leaned close to the shepherd again. Echo, if you can hear me, I need you to tell me what you know. Anything. Echo's eyes fluttered, barely opening, a sliver of brown and pain and longing. He wasn't fully conscious, but he was listening. Cole whispered, What did they do to you? Echo shuddered, a tremor rolling through his muscles. And for the first time since he died, he whined, soft, broken, fearful. Haley burst into tears. Echo, don't be scared. We're right here. Cole steadied himself. Whatever they put inside him, whatever they turned him into, it's tied to my brother. Rowan looked at the screen again. And someone out there knows Cole heard the message. If they know, Rebecca whispered. Does that mean they're coming for him? Cole shook his head slowly, jaw tightening with the kind of fear only a few men ever admit. They're not coming for me. His eyes drifted to Echo. They're coming for him. If you believe some bonds survive even death, if you believe God lets truth slip through cracks the world tries to seal, please like the video, leave a prayer for Echo, and subscribe to Angels in Uniform so this journey reaches every heart waiting for hope. The world outside the clinic had already shifted. Cars passed. People lived their quiet lives. No one knew that inside a small surgical room, a dead dog had breathed again and a dead man had spoken. Cole Maddox walked into the hallway like a man stepping out of a battlefield, jaw tight, shoulders carved from stone, eyes holding the ghosts of the last hour. Rowan followed behind him, clutching the tablet containing the signal logs. Rebecca held Haley close, whispering soft reassurances, but even her voice trembled. No one said it out loud, but everyone felt the same truth. This wasn't just Echo's story anymore. It was Cole's, his past, his brother, his unfinished war. They gathered in the consultation room, a quiet corner of the clinic made suddenly too small for the weight of the secret pressing in on all of them. Cole stood by the frosted window, watching snow drift down the street, each flake a quiet reminder that some storms fall softly before they swallow everything. Rowan cleared his throat. "Cole, we have to talk about the signal." Cole didn't turn. "Go ahead." Rowan tapped the tablet. "The pulse pattern is artificial, manufactured. Someone engineered that object inside Echo with intent. More importantly, the transmission wasn't random." Haley hugged herself tighter. It was a message. Cole finally turned. "From my brother?" Rebecca's voice shook. "I'm so sorry, Cole. But if your brother really is alive somewhere, why hasn't he come home?" Cole didn't answer, because he knew the answer. Because he had lived with it for 6 years. Because someone didn't let him. Rowan switched screens, and a grainy image formed. A timestamp, a snowy forest, a silhouette half collapsed, half dragged through the trees by masked men. "Cole," Rowan whispered. This clip was hidden inside the signal, an embedded frame. Rebecca gasped. Haley stepped back. The figure in the footage looked broken, but unmistakable. Cole's throat tightened. "That's him." Rowan lowered the tablet, almost afraid to show more. "There's a second image. It was encrypted, but I managed to extract it." He tapped the screen. The next image loaded. A close-up, a face, exhausted. Blood on the cheek, eyes afraid but fighting. Cole staggered back a step. He didn't breathe for several seconds. "Michael," Haley whispered. "That's your brother?" Cole nodded, slowly, painfully. "Yes." Haley wiped her tears with her sleeve. "He looks like you." Rebecca whispered. "But then the Bureau declared him dead." Cole's jaw locked. "I know." Cole sat heavily in a chair, elbows braced on his knees, head bowed. Michael was the good one. He believed people deserved mercy even when they didn't earn it. He taught Echo his first commands before Echo was even trained. Haley's eyes widened. Echo knew him. Cole nodded. And Michael loved that dog. Rowan softened. "Cole, if your brother is alive..." "He's not alive," Cole interrupted quietly. "Not fully, not anymore." Rebecca looked confused. "What do you mean?" Cole lifted his eyes, a storm hiding behind them. "I saw something in the signal, not just his voice, not just his face." He hesitated, as if saying it aloud would make it real. There was a background code, a secondary imprint, a neural signature. Rowan's head jerked up. "You think..." "I don't think," Cole said softly. "I know." He looked toward the surgical room, toward the dog lying unconscious with a foreign object beating beside his heart. Part of my brother's memory is inside Echo. Silence filled the room like floodwater. Cold, suffocating. Haley stepped closer to Cole, small hand reaching his arm. "Is that why Echo said it's coming?" Cole swallowed. "I think Echo remembers something Michael saw before he died, or before they made him disappear." Rowan added quietly, "Or before they used him." Rebecca frowned. "Used him for what?" Rowan hesitated. "I don't know. But whatever's inside Echo isn't just technology. It's a data vessel, a storage unit." Haley trembled. "So, the bad people who hurt your brother, they want Echo?" Cole nodded slowly. They'll come for him, because he's carrying something they lost. Rowan looked at Cole with a mixture of fear and determination. We need to report this, immediately. Cole shook his head. No. No, Rebecca echoed. Cole's voice dropped to a low, cold certainty, the kind that forms in a man who has seen too many missions go wrong and too many friends vanish into the dark. If I report this, the Bureau will take Echo. Rowan whispered. To protect him. Cole shook his head again. No, to contain him, to dissect him, to see what's inside. Haley gasped, horrified. Cole softened slightly. I won't lose him, not again. Rebecca whispered. So what do we do? Cole rose to his feet, tall, unshakable, a man finally stepping into the war that had been waiting for him. We find the people who did this to Michael. We find out what they want, and we stop them before they come for Echo. Echo stirred in the surgical room, a weak sound, like a dog waking from a nightmare. Cole turned toward the door. He's waking. He needs to hear my voice. Haley followed him. Can I talk to him too? Cole nodded gently. He listened to you when none of us could reach him. Stay close. They walked back toward Echo. 3 humans bound by fear, hope, and something far older than both. But as they approached the table, the scanner blinked to life again. Red. Cold. Urgent. A new message glowed across the screen. Second signal incoming. Estimated arrival. ZO 4.17. Rowan frowned. What's happening at 4:17? Cole stared at the numbers, eyes narrowing, heart pounding. He knew that timestamp. He knew exactly what it meant. And he whispered one sentence that turned every breath in the room cold. That's the time my brother disappeared. If you believe truth survives, even when the world buries it, if you believe God speaks through the broken to warn the living, please comment your prayer for Echo and Cole, and subscribe to Angels in Uniform so this journey can reach every soul searching for hope. Echo lay beneath the dim surgical lights, his breathing fragile but present, like a candle fighting the slightest wind. Cole Maddox stood at the edge of the table, one hand resting on Echo's flank, as if anchoring the shepherd to this world by sheer force of will. Rowan paced the room, tablet in hand, eyes darting between the scan results and the ticking clock on the wall. 4:17 was getting closer. Too close. Haley sat on a small rolling stool, chin on her knees, watching Echo with the devotion only a child with a shaken heart can give. Rebecca stood behind her daughter, hands on her shoulders, silent but praying. The second signal hadn't arrived yet, but something else had. Something they didn't expect. The hospital doors hissed open. Footsteps, measured, heavy, echoed down the hall. Cole turned, instincts sharpening. He knew that cadence. He'd heard it in desert bases, in ruined cities, in midnight raids. A soldier's walk, not the careful step of a doctor, but the deliberate march of someone trained to survive gunfire. Then the figure appeared in the doorway, a tall man in a long charcoal coat, snow clinging to the shoulders, salt and pepper hair damp from the storm outside. Eyes sharp, jaw set, Agent Daniel Hart. Cole stiffened. He hadn't seen Hart in years. Not since Michael vanished. Hart scanned the room, gaze landing on Echo first, then Rowan, then Rebecca and Haley, and finally, Cole. Don't shoot me, Hart said dryly. I'm still on your side. Cole didn't move. Prove it. Hart stepped inside, closing the door behind him. I heard the signal. Rowan froze. You heard it? Hart nodded once, the same way you did. He held up a small receiver, black, dented, military grade. Cole's jaw tightened. That's classified tech. Was, Hart corrected. Your brother designed the prototype. The room fell silent. Even Echo seemed to sense the shift, his breathing hitching softly, as though his body recognized the presence in the doorway. Hart approached the table, slow, controlled, as if walking toward a grave that had started breathing again. He stared at Echo for a long moment. Then he spoke quietly. Too quietly. Michael didn't just disappear. Cole's voice was low, dangerous. I know. Hart didn't flinch. He sacrificed himself. Rebecca gasped. Haley grabbed Cole's sleeve. Rowan stepped forward. What do you mean? Hart exhaled slowly. Michael went undercover into an organization darker than anything the Bureau could publicly acknowledge. He found something, a technology built off stolen military research, something alive enough to adapt and dangerous enough to destroy. Cole's hands tightened on the metal rail. Get to the point. Hart nodded. I am. He pointed at Echo's chest. That object inside him. Your brother stole the original and hid it where the kill. Enemy could never retrieve it. Rowan stared. In a dog? Hart's eyes softened. He didn't trust anyone else, not the Bureau, not his unit, not even me. Haley whispered, So, Michael put the thing inside Echo to protect it? No, Hart said quietly. To protect you. Cole froze. Me? Hart nodded. The object has a failsafe. If the carrier dies, it sends a signal to the person Michael paired it with. Cole's stomach turned cold. You mean it's bonded to me? Hart hesitated, then spoke the truth. No, Cole. It's bonded to Michael. And because Echo carries Michael's neural imprint, that bond isn't broken. Cole stepped away from the table, breath unsteady. So tell me something, Hart. Why the hell did the Bureau say my brother died? Hart met his stare evenly. Because the moment we realized what he was carrying, our orders changed. What orders? Hart's silence answered for him. Cole cursed under his breath. You were supposed to kill him. Hart didn't deny it. He begged us not to. He said he had a plan, said he had to disappear to finish what he started. Rebecca covered her mouth. Haley's eyes flooded with tears. Rowan whispered, Oh my God. Hart looked away. Michael died. But not the way you think. The organization found him, tortured him, extracted part of his memory, the part connected to the device, and tried to transfer it into a machine prototype. Cole felt the world tilt. He wasn't just tortured. Hart's voice cracked for the first time. They ripped pieces of him out. Haley stepped closer to Echo, touching the shepherd's paw. So the memories Echo has, they're from Michael? Hart nodded. Fragments. Enough to warn you, not enough to save him. Cole turned sharply. What do you mean, warn me? Hart held up his receiver. The second signal you're waiting for? That's not a transmission. Rowan frowned. Then what is it? Hart's voice dropped to a quiet dread. A location ping. Haley asked the question no one wanted to. A ping for who? Hart answered without blinking. For whoever's coming to reclaim the object? Echo stirred suddenly. A deep, shaky growl rising from his chest, paws twitching as if running through a nightmare only he could see. Cole rushed to him. Echo? Easy, boy, I'm here. The shepherd's breathing grew rough, his muscles seizing, eyes flickering beneath closed lids. Rowan checked the monitor. His stress levels are spiking. Something's triggering him. Hart took a step closer. What time is it? Haley whispered. It's 4:16. The scanner flashed red. Lines of code raced across the screen. Second signal locked. Receiver identified. Cole's voice came out like gravel. Receiver? Hart looked straight at him. It's not Echo. The screen flickered. Then a new line appeared. one that froze the room in place. Receiver, Cole Maddox, and under it, a cold, final message. Target arriving. If you believe God warns his soldiers before the darkness comes, if you believe no man stands alone when truth begins to rise, please like, comment your prayer for Cole and Echo, and subscribe to Angels in Uniform so this journey can reach every heart searching for hope. The clock on the wall clicked from 4:16 to 4:17. A single second, a single breath, and the air inside the clinic changed, as if the building itself exhaled in fear. Cole Maddox felt it first, a pressure rolling through the hallway, silent but heavy, like the footstep of something enormous and unseen. Echo jolted on the table, muscles tightening beneath his fur, a growl rising from a place deeper than instinct alone. Haley grabbed Cole's sleeve. "Agent Cole, something's here." Rebecca pulled her daughter close. Rowan froze mid-step. Even Hart's hardened expression shifted, not to fear, but to recognition. He had felt this presence before. Long ago, the night Cole's brother vanished. A shadow moved behind the frosted window. Not a person, not a shape that belonged to a human gait. Slow, deliberate, tracked from left to right, like a predator studying its prey before stepping into the light. Cole positioned himself in front of Echo, body squared, hand instinctively reaching his hip, only to remember the weapon he wasn't carrying in the clinic. Hart moved beside him. "No sudden movements," he murmured. "They're scanning the room." Rebecca whispered, "They? Who is they?" Hart didn't answer. He didn't need to. The shadow outside the door answered for him. The lights flickered, once, twice, then steadied. But the hum of the building changed pitch, a low vibration, like metal under strain. Rowan's tablet beeped sharply. The scanner lit up. Object response, active. Neural link established. Rowan's eyes widened. "It's linking to Echo again, right now, real time." Haley climbed onto the stool next to the table. "Echo, wake up. Please wake up." The shepherd's eyes fluttered, half opening for the briefest moment. A flash of brown, pain, recognition, and something ancient stirring underneath. Cole leaned close. "Buddy, I need you awake. Right now." Echo didn't rise, but he growled again, a deep, thunder-like rumble aimed directly at the door. Hart whispered, "He senses them. He always could." A soft, mechanical click echoed through the hallway. Not a footstep, not a voice, not a weapon being drawn, a lock being overridden. The door handle twitched, once, twice, then turned. Rebecca gasped. Haley hid behind Cole's coat. Rowan backed up, clinging to the tray table. Hart stepped forward, one hand raised. "Don't run. Don't scream. That's exactly what they want." Cole glared. "And what do you want, Hart?" Hart swallowed. "To keep you alive long enough to hear what Michael was trying to tell you." The door eased open, millimeter by millimeter, as if whatever stood behind it enjoyed the fear it was growing. The silhouette sharpened. A human outline, tall, broad-shouldered, unmoving. Haley whispered, "Is that a man?" Cole didn't answer. His chest constricted, his pulse hammered, because he recognized the outline. He'd memorized it, mourned it, buried it. Michael. But the figure stepped fully into the light, and Cole's breath shattered. It wasn't his brother. It wasn't anything like his brother. It was a man wearing Michael's shape, Michael's posture, Michael's height, Michael's frame. But his face, his eyes, were empty, white, artificial, unliving, a replica, a puppet, a ghost wearing the skin of memory. Haley screamed. Rebecca pulled her close. Rowan backed into the counter. What is that? Hart answered quietly. They call them recovered units. Cole snapped. What does that mean? Hart swallowed. They recover men who didn't survive the experiments. Then they repurpose their bodies. Cole's stomach turned. You're telling me they turned my brother into... No, Hart said immediately. That isn't him. It's a copy. Cole clenched his fists. That's worse. The puppet Michael tilted its head, as if listening to something none of them could hear. It lifted its hand. A faint light pulsed along its wrist, the same pattern the object inside Echo had emitted. Rowan pointed. Oh God, it's a receiver. Hart nodded grimly. They followed the object's signature. Haley cried, They're here to take Echo. The puppet's head snapped toward her, fast, unnatural, like a machine processing threat variables. Cole stepped in front of her. You touch the girl, you go through me. The puppet didn't respond, didn't blink, didn't breathe. It only raised its hand again. And the scanner exploded with red warnings. Object external link detected. Initializing transfer. Rowan shouted, It's trying to pull the data out of Echo. Echo convulsed, body arching, legs kicking, eyes wide with terror and memory not his own. No! Cole grabbed him, holding the shepherd down as he shook violently. Echo, stay with me, stay with me. Hart reached for Cole's shoulder. Cole, don't break the connection. If you do, the feedback could kill him. Echo whimpered. A broken, guttural sound that tore the room in half. Haley sobbed. Stop hurting him. Please stop. The puppet stepped closer, inch by inch. The stolen face of Cole's brother staring blankly ahead. Cole felt something inside him snap. Get away from him! Echo seized again, but this time something else seized with him. A light, a pulse, a flare deep beneath his ribs, growing brighter, hotter, sharper, as if the object inside him refused to be taken. Then, the lights in the clinic blew out at once. A white flash, a deafening boom, and absolute darkness. If you believe God stands between the innocent and the darkness that hunts them, if you believe no evil can steal what was given through love, please like, comment your prayer for Echo and Cole, and subscribe to Angels in Uniform, so this journey can reach every heart searching for hope. Darkness swallowed the surgical room. Total, heavy, a suffocating black that felt alive. For 3 seconds, no one moved, no one breathed. Even the air seemed to collapse into silence. Then, a single sound rose through the dark. Echo's heartbeat, not weak, not fragile, but powerful, deep, thunderous, as if something older than the dog, older than memory itself, had taken command of his broken body. Cole gripped the table in the dark. Echo? A soft glow began beneath the shepherd's ribs, a pulse of pale, living light leaking through fur and skin, casting ghost-like illumination across the room. Haley gasped. Rebecca clung to her. Rowan stumbled back. Hart whispered the words none of them wanted to hear. It's awakening. The glow inside Echo intensified. Not warm, but cold, like the kind of light found in old ruins and forgotten tombs. Then the generator outside hummed violently. Fluorescent lights flickered. Electricity surged back through the clinic. The room snapped into view. The table shook beneath Echo. His limbs stiffened, his throat rumbling with a growl that didn't sound like pain or fear or even warning. It sounded like memory. Someone else's memory. Haley whispered, Agent Cole. He's scared. Cole moved to Echo's head, cupping his hands around the shepherd's skull. I'm here. I'm right here. Echo's eyes shot open, but they were not the warm brown of the dog Cole raised. They shone bright, burning amber, with shimmering flecks of silver dancing like embers inside. Rebecca's breath hitched. Dear God, Hart stepped forward. That's the imprint. It's fully active. Rowan's hands trembled. He's accessing the stored memory. Michael's memory. Echo's body jerked violently. But the movement was purposeful, not random, as if he were reliving something. Stepping through a moment not lived by him, but carved into him. Then Echo spoke. Not in human words, but in a sequence of sounds, half growls, half whines, a pattern of distress so specific, Cole felt the blood drain from his face. Hart recognized it too. That's a pain response code. Rowan's eyes shot wide. He's replaying the moment they tortured Michael. Cole's chest cracked open. No, stop, stop. He pressed his forehead to Echo's. A man begging a miracle to spare an animal from a sorrow never meant for him. But Echo wasn't stopping. The light inside him pulsed faster, sinking with each convulsion, a stuttering, terrified rhythm. Haley cried, "You're hurting him. Whoever you are, stop!" As if hearing her, Echo froze. The growling ceased. The shaking stopped. The light pulled inward, condensing into a single sharp flare beneath his heart. Then a sound played. Not from Echo, not from any speaker, from the air itself. A voice. Warped, broken, human. Cole. Cole staggered back. No. No. Another word formed, laced with static and agony. Brother. Haley covered her ears. Rebecca sobbed. Rowan whispered, "Oh God, is that Michael's voice?" Hart answered softly, "No, that's what's left of it." Echo's body relaxed, too relaxed, like something had drained out of him. The amber silver glow faded back to brown. His breathing steadied, his muscles softened beneath Cole's hands. "Easy," Cole whispered. "Easy, buddy. I'm here." Echo blinked slowly, the light inside him dimming but not gone. Hart stepped in close. "We need to understand what he saw." Cole shook his head sharply. "No. He's done enough. He's been through enough." Rowan's voice was gentle but firm. "Cole, Michael put this thing inside Echo for a reason. He wanted you to see." Echo lifted his head, weak but insistent, and nudged Cole's arm, a deliberate gesture, a sign. Rowan swallowed. "He wants to show you." Cole knelt beside him. "Buddy, only if you're sure." The shepherd closed his eyes, and the scanner beside him lit with a new pattern, a memory signature, Michael's signature. Hart leaned over the screen. "Stand by. It's generating an image." The display flickered, glitched, then sharpened, forming a single frozen frame. A man tied to a chair, blood on his temple, head slumped forward, breathing shallow, Michael Maddox. Cole's breath broke. Michael. The next frame loaded, masked men standing around him, one holding a device, one pressing something into Michael's chest. Haley turned away. Rebecca closed her eyes. Rowan whispered a prayer. Hart stared at the screen, jaw clenched, eyes burning. The final frame appeared, Michael lifting his head, looking into the camera, face bruised but defiant, and forcing out a whisper. "Cole, if you're seeing this, they're coming for the dog. Find the truth. Don't trust." The image cut. Static burned across the screen. A final line appeared, as if written by a dying hand. "They know you're with him." Cole touched Echo's head, his voice a mix of heartbreak and reverence. "You carried this for him. For me." Echo thumped his tail once, weak but unmistakable. Haley wiped her tears. "It means Michael loved you. He wanted you to know." Hart lowered his gaze. "He wanted you alive, Cole. And now that the second signal has triggered, they'll try again." Rowan looked toward the shattered door. "So what do we do?" Cole rose slowly. A man who had mourned, been broken, been hunted, and was now being rebuilt by a loyalty stronger than death. He looked at Echo, then at Hart, then at the terrified family in the corner. "We end this," he said, "tonight. If you believe love leaves echoes that even death cannot silence, if you believe God guards those chosen for truth, please comment your prayer for Cole and Echo, and subscribe to Angels in Uniform so this journey can reach every heart searching for hope. In every moment of darkness, there is a light that refuses to die. A reminder that miracles still walk among us in ways we rarely expect. Whether it comes through a loyal companion, a stranger's kindness, or a truth we uncover at the exact moment we need it, these moments whisper the same promise. God is still working. He is still guiding. He is still protecting. And no matter what storms rise in your own life, you are never walking them alone. If this story touched you, I invite you to share it with someone who needs hope today. Leave a comment with your thoughts, your prayers, or your own experience of God's grace. And subscribe to join this community of people who believe in courage, compassion, and the miracles hidden in everyday life. May God bless you, protect you, and surround you with His peace as you move through the days ahead.